As you just heard in that report, many Muslims feel they are caught in a dilemma. They want to cooperate with authorities to prevent acts of terrorism. Indeed, Muslim leaders had a hand in the arrest of those Americans in Pakistan. Yet they fear promoting stereotypes about the Muslim community. For more on all this, we are joined by Irshad Manji, a professor at New York University and the author of The Trouble with Islam Today. She herself is a Muslim, and thank you so much, Professor, for joining us. You write that moderate Muslims are in a particular bind, that they need to be more aggressive in helping to combat terrorism that is committed in the name of Islam.
Right.
Why and how so are they in a bind?
Well, first of all, in this country, we trip over ourselves to make the distinction between extremist Muslims and moderate Muslims. But I think the much more important distinction is between moderates and reformists. And let me explain. Moderates certainly condemn violence that is committed under the banner of Islam. The problem is that they still deny the role or potential role that religion plays in the very violence that is committed in its name. The next time a bombing or beheading occurs, the first thing that will come out of a moderate's mouth is, please don't misunderstand, Islam has nothing to do with this. Not only is that dishonest, since many of the would-be terrorists themselves cite scripture, manipulatively to be sure, but nonetheless they cite what is already there, but it's also dangerous because in their silence, in their denial, moderate Muslims then abdicate the responsibility for reinterpretation to those with malignant intentions. Reform-minded Muslims say, hey, just like liberal Christians and liberal Jews have done with the violent passages in their scriptures, we have to reinterpret our own.
We have to talk about
Exactly. And not only that, but the Quran itself contains 3 times as many passages calling on us Muslims to think and analyze and reflect instead of verses that only tell us what is right or wrong.
What was your reaction to the arrest of those young Americans in Pakistan?
I have to say that I'm not surprised. Now, I'm not jumping to any conclusions. Who knows? At this point, they may very well be CIA operatives. But assuming that they are not, radicalization is on the rise in many parts of the West. It used to be restricted, more or less, to Europe, but now it's happening in Canada and the United States as well. And what I find so paradoxical and troubling is that this is happening, under the presidency of Barack Obama. Not because of him, but the point is that it used to be convenient to say, well, if only we had a president other than George W. Bush, then there wouldn't be so many aggrieved young Muslims. Clearly, that was a pat answer, and that needs to be thrown out the window now.
And even though this week there's a study out that says most of the victims of al-Qaeda are Muslims.
Well, yeah, that study actually comes from the West Point Military Academy, co-authored by 2 Muslims and somebody else, and they went to Arabic sources, Edie, not to Western sources, but to Arab language sources in order to derive their data, and they found that in the last 2 years alone, an astounding 98% of the victims of al-Qaeda's violence are indeed fellow Muslims. Why is this important to this particular story of the Muslim Americans arrested in Pakistan? Because reports say that one of them left behind a video showing the carnage of Muslim bodies and then saying that we need to defend fellow Muslims. Well, if they're going to Pakistan to join the al-Qaeda-driven jihad there, they're not defending fellow Muslims at all. Likely, they're killing fellow Muslims.
All right, Professor Irshad Manji, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks.